Okay, so you sent over this information on Joymoti Konwari, 17th century from Assam.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I had never heard of her before.
Yeah.
But we've got historical accounts, we've got a children's book,
Yeah.
we even have something about the first Assamese film. So clearly someone who's had a big impact.
Yeah.
But why should we care?
Well, it's fascinating. Joymoti is both a specific historical event and a powerful symbol, kind of echoes through time. She was living in the Ahom kingdom in the 1670s, which lasted for a pretty impressive 600 years in Assam.
Wow.
But the 1670s, very turbulent time.
Yeah.
There was a puppet king, Laura Raja, controlled by his prime minister, who had grand ambitions, let's say.
A puppet ruler and a power-hungry minister. Classic combo. What was happening in Assam at this time?
This prime minister was orchestrating what historians call the purge of the princes, eliminating rivals to the throne. And I mean that literally he ordered them to be mutilated, knowing that any physical disability would disqualify them from becoming king. It was a brutal period. And that's where Joymoti and her husband, Gadapani, entered the scene.
So Joymoti and Gadapani, who were they?
Well, Joymoti, noble family. And get this, she had 24 brothers and 12 sisters.
Wow, that's a lot of siblings.
Huge family.
Yeah.
Her husband, Gadapani, was a potential heir to the throne. So during this purge of the princes, you can imagine he's suddenly in a very dangerous position.
Definitely.
You know, with that many siblings, she probably got pretty good at navigating tricky situations.
Right.
Yeah.
So did they try to, stay under the radar? What did they do?
Joymoti was actually the more cautious one.
Okay.
Seeing the danger Gadapani was in, she advised him to flee, escape to the Naga Hills.
Smart.
Yeah. And in one of our sources, A Tale of Sacrifice and Fortitude, it even says he was sheltered by a Naga damsel named Dalimi.
Oh, wow.
Bit of romance in there, too.
So we've got political intrigue, we've got a daring escape, and even a little romance.
Yeah.
This is already a great story. But I'm guessing it's about to get even more complicated.
Of course. Laura Raja wasn't going to let a rival just disappear. He sent out troops to hunt Gadapani down.
Okay.
But they couldn't find him.
Uh-oh.
So they turned their attention to Joymoti.
Right. And this is where things take a turn for the worse, right?
Yes.
They threatened her family? What happened?
Much worse.
Oh, no.
They brought her before the court,
Okay.
demanding she reveal her husband's location.
Wow.
Can you imagine the pressure?
Yeah.
Noble family, she was probably used to comfort and luxury, but she was also fiercely patriotic. She knew the danger Laura Raja posed to the kingdom. It was a defining moment.
So she's caught between loyalty to her husband and loyalty to her kingdom. What did she choose?
She refused to betray her husband. Incredible strength.
Wow.
They imprisoned her at Jurangapathar, which has become forever linked with her story. And they subjected her to horrific tortures. One of the sources describes this thorny plant, the Kotkora plant that they used to bind her.
That's awful.
It's a very vivid image of her suffering. And keep in mind, our outline says she was a mother at this time, even pregnant.
Oh, gosh. So Gadapani, did he know any of this was happening?
He did. He even visited her in disguise, begged her to just tell them where he was to end the torture. But Joymoti, she urged him to keep fighting for the kingdom. She wasn't just protecting her husband. She was fighting for their future, their children, the future of Assam.
So her courage wasn't just about love for her husband, but about patriotism, right? Like she felt this responsibility for her people.
Absolutely. It elevates her actions beyond just a personal sacrifice.
So what happened? Did she eventually give in?
No, she didn't. She endured 14 days of unimaginable pain.
Oh, my gosh.
And she died without ever revealing Gadapani's location. The strength she displayed is just incredible. It's no wonder she's remembered as a sati.
Right, a sati. So tell me about this title. What does that mean in this context?
We have to be careful to understand Sota within its historical and cultural framework.
Of course.
It's complex, you know?
Yeah.
Today, we often associate it with widow burning, but back then, it was more about recognizing a woman's courage, devotion, sacrifice.
Yeah.
It elevated her to almost a divine status, made her a symbol for future generations.
I see. So she may have died, but her sacrifice wasn't in vain, right?
Not at all. Gadapani, fueled by grief and rage, eventually rallied his forces, overthrew Laura Raja, took the name Gadadhar Singha, and became a successful ruler.
So the very future Joymoti envisioned, the one she fought for.
Right.
He made it happen.
Exactly.
Her courage really paved the way for his reign. So is that the end of her story, or does it go on?
Oh, there's much more to tell. Her legacy was preserved and celebrated in remarkable ways. We'll talk about that in the next part. Memorials dedicated to her, the annual Day of Remembrance, even how her story became the first Assamese film.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm already hooked. It seems like her story really resonated with the people of Assam.
Yes, it did.
Let's take a quick break and then dive into how Joymoti's legacy continued to unfold.
So Joymoti's legacy, it wasn't just history books and stories. Her son, Rudra Singha, went above and beyond to keep her memory alive, you know?
It seems like he wanted to make sure people never forgot his mother.
Absolutely. In 1697, he built the Joy Sagar tank.
Okay.
Right at the spot where she was imprisoned and tortured.
Wow.
And, get this, it's considered the largest man-made lake in all of India.
Seriously.
That's what they say, the sheer size of it. It's supposed to represent the magnitude of her sacrifice.
Yeah, that's powerful. The largest man-made lake in India. All to honor this woman who stood up to a king. Were there other tributes to her?
Oh, yeah. He also built the Joydal.
Okay.
It's a temple, kind of pyramid-shaped, right on the banks of that lake.
Okay.
It houses a golden idol of his mother, really solidifying her image as this, symbol of strength and devotion.
Right.
And even today, they observe Sati Joymoti Divas in Assam on March 27th, commemorating her death.
Wow, her story is so ingrained in the culture, even centuries later.
Absolutely.
It's more than just history. It's part of their identity. And speaking of remembering,
yeah,
we got to talk about this first Assamese film, Joymoti, from 1935. What can you tell me about that?
Well, the film itself, huge achievement.
Okay.
Jyoti Prasad Agarwala directed it, really helped launch Assamese cinema. And I think the fact that they chose Joymoti's story for their first film speaks volumes about her lasting impact. But there's another layer to the story that I find really interesting.
This is what you were hinting at earlier, right?
Yes.
What about the actress who played Joymoti?
Aideu Handique, young woman from Golaghat.
Okay.
Her decision to act in that film, incredibly brave, radical even for the time. Back then, for a woman, especially from a good family, to appear on screen. Huge taboo.
Wow. So just by taking the role, she was breaking societal norms.
Exactly. It took guts.
Absolutely. Was it similar to how women were viewed in Joymoti's time?
Oh, definitely a patriarchal society. Strict rules for women. Just like Joymoti defied expectations by refusing to betray her husband.
Yeah.
Aideu defied them by being on screen.
Right.
Challenging what was considered acceptable for a woman to do.
It's like a parallel between them, centuries apart.
It is. Makes you wonder if Aideu connected with Joymoti,
Yeah. So how did people react to her performance?
Not well, unfortunately.
Right.
Despite the film being a success, Aideu was ostracized by her community.
Wow.
They felt like she'd betrayed their values.
So they punished her for bringing this powerful, patriotic figure to life.
Yeah, it's pretty tragic.
It really shows how strong those societal pressures were,
Right.
It's almost like an echo of Joymoti's suffering, both facing consequences for what they believed was right. Did Aideu ever receive recognition, like later on?
Sadly, not really. I mean, our sources mention a small pension later in life.
Yeah.
But mostly she lived in obscurity. Her contribution to Assamese cinema pretty much forgotten.
That's so sad.
Until after her death, actually. In 2002, people started to understand what she had sacrificed.
It's a shame her bravery wasn't celebrated when she was alive.
Yeah. But in their own ways, both Joymoti and Aideu, they paved the way for future generations.
Definitely. It makes me think about all the women who fought for progress, often facing pushback.
It's that bigger question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why should these stories from so long ago matter to us today?
Exactly. What can we learn from them?
That's the core of it. Their lives, separated by centuries, they speak to these universal themes. Joymoti, she embodies courage.
Yeah.
Not just on a battlefield, but in everyday life,
Right.
Making impossible choices, standing up for your beliefs, even when facing unimaginable pressure.
Yeah, what are we willing to sacrifice for what we believe in?
Exactly.
How do we show courage?
And then you have Aideu's story, challenging those norms, that status quo, pushing for self-expression.
Pushing for what you believe in.
Right, even when society tries to silence you.
I'm thinking about all those women throughout history, fighting for change, facing all that resistance.
It's inspiring.
Are there other figures from our sources that we can connect to Joymoti?
Several, actually. Kanaklata Barua fought against British rule in India.
Okay.
Rani Lakshmibai, the warrior queen of Jhansi,
Wow.
And even Joan of Arc. All these parallels across different cultures and time periods. What is it about their stories that resonates with us, even today?
Well, they all defied expectations. They broke down barriers.
Right.
They sought for what they believed in.
Powerful reminders that women have always been agents of change, shaping history, inspiring others to fight for a better world.
But like you said before, their contributions are often ignored. Right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
There's this quote that stood out to me from Gerda Lerner.
Oh, yes.
The Creation of Patriarchy.
Yeah.
She says, the unawareness of their own history of struggle and achievement has been one of the major means of keeping women subordinate.
That's such a powerful statement. And sadly, it's still relevant.
Yeah.
For centuries, women's voices have been silenced, their stories untold.
Forgotten or erased.
Right.
It makes this deep dive even more important, don't you think?
Yeah.
Rediscovering these lost stories, understanding their impact,
absolutely,
recognizing that courage.
And the courage it takes to stand up for what you believe in, even when it seems impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also about action, right?
Yeah.
What can we do as individuals to honor these legacies and continue the fight for equality?
That's a great point. It starts with understanding that equality benefits everyone.
Right.
A society that values women is a stronger, more vibrant society for all of us.
Yeah. It's about speaking up, supporting those organizations, educating ourselves, educating others.
Exactly. Learning about the contributions women have made.
Right. So we've gone beyond Joymoti's individual story to this broader conversation about courage, sacrifice, equality. But we haven't really talked about Gadapani. What happened after he became king? Did he live up to Joymoti's hopes?
That's a fascinating part of the story. It reveals a lot about how he ruled, maybe even influenced by Joymoti's sacrifice.
Okay, I'm really curious to hear about his reign. Let's dive into that in the last part of our deep dive. All right, so we've talked about Joymoti, her incredible sacrifice, how it echoed through history, inspired the first Assamese film, and even impacted the actress who played her.
Right.
But what happened after Gadapani becomes King Gadadhar Singha? Did he live up to her hopes?
Well, Gadadhar Singha's reign, it really shows that Joymorti's sacrifice wasn't just, him getting to power, but it was like a guiding principle for him.
Okay.
He became king in 1681, just a year after her death.
Yeah.
And he ruled for almost 20 years.
Okay.
He solidified his power, strengthened the kingdom.
Yeah.
And maybe most importantly, he fought back those Mughal invaders.
Right. And we talked earlier about the Mughal Empire, how powerful they were.
Oh, yeah.
They'd conquered huge parts of India, so holding them off, that's pretty impressive.
It was...
What was his secret? How did he do it?
He was a strategic thinker, a skilled military leader.
Okay.
He focused on strengthening the Ahom army, new tactics, even formed alliances with neighboring kingdoms.
So smart.
Well,
like he knew that working together was key.
Exactly. United front.
So not just a warrior, but a politician too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Did he use his power to actually create that vision Joymoti had for Assam?
Well, everything suggests he ruled with fairness, with justice, always remembering those sacrifices made for the kingdom.
It's almost like he was driven to make that secure and flourishing kingdom that she wanted.
Right, like it was his mission.
That's quite a legacy. Her courage shaping the future.
Absolutely.
And that victory over the Mughals, that wasn't just military, was it? What did it mean for the Assamese people?
You're right. It was cultural, too.
Yeah.
It meant preserving their culture, their language, their traditions against this massive empire trying to take over.
Makes Joymoti's story even more relevant today, don't you think?
Absolutely.
A world where so many cultures are under threat.
It is. She's a symbol of resistance,
Yeah.
Resilience.
It reminds us how important it is to protect what makes each culture unique. Resist being swallowed up. Stand up for who we are.
Strength in diversity.
Yeah, strengthen our differences, not erasing them. It makes me wonder if Joymoti ever imagined her defiance would have this lasting impact, not just on her family or kingdom, but on, the identity of Assam itself.
It's incredible to think about.
As we're wrapping up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, Joymoti's story, it teaches us so much.
Yeah.
It's about the power of the human spirit.
Right.
In the face of, just unimaginable hardship. Courage can be shown in so many ways.
Right. Not just fighting in a war, but taking a stand, even silently.
Exactly. And how important women have been in shaping history, inspiring others.
Love, loyalty, sacrifice.
Yeah.
But it also leaves us with questions, right?
Oh, definitely.
Like, what kind of inner strength did it take for her to send her husband away,
Yeah.
knowing she might never see him again? And her sons, Growing up with that knowledge, how did that impact them?
And Gadapani, achieving that victory, building that prosperous kingdom, he fulfilled the very dream Joymoti died for. It adds this whole other layer, this bittersweetness.
It really did.
Like her sacrifice wasn't just about a kingdom, but a better future for everyone.
So we end this deep dive with a challenge for you listening. As you go about your day, think about those small acts of courage, the ones that can contribute to something bigger. How can you stand up for what you believe in, even in little ways?
How can you support others fighting for a better future?
Even if it means some sacrifice.
Right. And how can you make sure those stories of those who fought and sacrificed, how can we make sure those stories are never forgotten?
We'd love to hear what you think about this deep dive. What resonated with you? What questions are you left with? Share your thoughts, and let's keep this conversation going. Because that's what these deep dives are about, right? Sparking curiosity, encouraging us to think, to connect the past with the present, so we can all work towards a better future.
I think that's beautifully said.
Thanks for joining us on this journey